Call to order the January 23rd Brooklyn Board of Education regular scheduled meeting. Mr. Street, can you call the roll?
Mrs. Barchet?
Present.
Mr. Singer?
Here.
Mr. Hennings?
Here.
Mr. O.
Here.
Mr. Neal is ill tonight, so he's not with us. And Mr. Street, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dr. Wyckoff, do you want to?
Absolutely, thanks, Mrs. Barczyk. Board of Education, tonight we got a special treat. Tonight is actually the high school night. As you can see from behind me, we're going to be entertained a bit, but I first want to introduce our assistant principal, Mr. Bill.
Hi. Good evening. Last Friday night, our team, Mr. Sullivan took his team over to an ensemble performance at Padua, and I'm going to introduce him because obviously they did a great job and I want to give you the details.
On Saturday, January 20th, we had the opportunity to perform at Padua. We have an annual function for OMEA, Ohio Music Education Association, and there are about 40 schools that in Northeast Ohio that are involved with that. It's a different location each year. This year, obviously, at Padua was the first year at Padua. It used to be at Tri-C West. And all of our students received excellent or superior ratings in all categories. And we had a number of solo performers as well as ensemble performers. It's an all-day event. And like I said, there are a number of other schools in the area that are involved. And I was just really proud of how well our students did and the way that they represented our school with honor and class, really showing their talents. And so we're going to feature some of them tonight. The first is going to be DeAndre Barkley, who's a junior. And he's also involved with our musical and our show choir and our chorus, as well as a leader in our band program. And we're going to feature him along with my mom on piano, Nancy Sullivan. And he's going to perform the Mozart Oboe Concerto. He received a superior rating on Saturday, and so it's going to be a real treat to hear him revisit that again tonight. So without further ado, DeAndre Barkley. And next up, we're going to feature Nicholas Sopko, who's actually the vice president of our band this year. And he's also a participant in jazz ensemble as well as the pit orchestra. And by the way, just a little plug, coming up in March 8th, 9th, and 10th, we do have Beauty and the Beast, our annual musical, and we've been doing rehearsals for that. We're excited about that. And that's when we kick that off on opening night, March 8th. So without further ado, Nick Sopko playing Handel's Sonata No. 3. Second. Very much for the opportunity, much appreciated.
Well, I don't think it's a surprise that those two gentlemen got high marks over the weekend. That was phenomenal.
Thank you very much.
And I think it's a credit, obviously, to you, Mr. Sullivan, the music department as well. But great work, guys, and to all of them, congratulations. And, you know, again, you know, board, we're very fortunate. Goes without saying, but we've got an extremely talented, many students are very talented, but our music department obviously excels, and we're very proud of them. That's one of the great points of Brooklyn. So, thanks. Thanks tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mrs. Sullivan.
You're very welcome. Okay, but we're from Chagrin Falls. Comments from visitors. In order for the board to fulfill its obligation to complete the planned agenda in an effective and efficient fashion, a maximum of 30 minutes of public participation as it pertains to school-related topics will be permitted at each meeting. Each person wishing to address the board will approach the podium and state his or her name and address. If several people wish to speak, each person will be allotted 3 minutes until the total time of 30 minutes is used. During that period, no person may speak twice until all who desire to speak have the opportunity to do so. The period of public participation may be extended by a vote of the majority of the board. Do we have anybody singing? Okay, on to Dr. Glykoff, the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mrs. Barczyk. I just have a couple of things tonight. First of all, this week, believe it or not, is Public Schools Week. I know there's been a lot of different things in the news and so forth, but believe it or not, this is Public Schools Week. And I think this past week is certainly appropriate, given what we know in terms of the news around and ECOT closing and so forth. You know that I've championed, Brooklyn schools at the State House, challenging lawmakers for more funding, equitable funding, and equitable funding relative to what some of the charters and parochials and community schools are getting. But despite all those challenges that we have financially, the Brooklyn schools provide a quality and a very competitive education. I think we just saw case in point number one. But let me just kind of say this for a few things. Brooklyn City Schools. It is a school district that has a 5-star rated preschool program. The Brooklyn Schools is a school district that has a marching band that comprises over 20% of the high school population, total population. Brooklyn Schools is a school district that has increased student technology by 50% by grants alone this past year. The Brooklyn Schools is a school district that provides student opportunities in pre-engineering and STEM as early as 7th grade. The Brooklyn Schools has increased its performance index on the state report card in the last 3 years and has grown more than a year overall per the report card progress measure. Brooklyn Schools are a school district that provides opportunities for high school students in pre-medical field experiences, training on and off site with their HPAC program. The Brooklyn Schools is a school district that offers 11 different interscholastic athletic sports and had 4 of our student athletes perform in state tournaments last year alone. And it's a school district that has a 2-year-old building, which we're sitting in right now, that houses its pre-K-7 students in a 21st century ready facility. All of these are being celebrated currently and advertised to families that have chosen to educate their Brooklyn children somewhere else. In front of you, I put another exhibit for you. As we respect parents' decisions to send their children maybe to other charters and community schools, we want them to know the value of a Brooklyn education. So this has gone off to many of our families who have chosen to go someplace else. Now, a little postscript to that is this. These were sent personally to all those families who had sent their students to ECOT. As of this afternoon, I have heard of at least 4 and perhaps even 5 families that have enrolled in the Brooklyn City Schools since then. So it's good that they're starting to consider Brooklyn, as I put on there, and start seeing the value of our public education. So I think it's something that we need to celebrate here in public schools. So that was my first point of the evening. And I think this is a good segue because our schools are currently in a great place, but we're aiming for higher ground. And that is the purpose of our strategic planning for our school district. Strategic planning, again, our purpose is to create a comprehensive plan for at least the next 5 years for our school district. So we're beginning to imagine, what does the Brooklyn City Schools look like in 2023? I'm really proud. Last Wednesday, we had our first kind of management team meeting for strategic planning. We had nearly 50 people attend. A lot of them were parents and community folks. We did have staff. We had a couple of students. We had administrators as well. We worked on the overview of the strategic planning process, went through what the timelines were, and many of those folks were going to gather even more information from small groups outside. What we're planning for is a retreat on Tuesday, February 6th, where we'll be off-site which some of those folks, probably about 30 to 40 will be together. We're really going to do a lot of the meat of the work, so we're getting excited about that. All of that work will then culminate in a comprehensive strategic plan that will be presented to you as the Board of Education. I would say probably sometime in May. So that's our timeline for that. So I wanted to share kind of an update of where we were in terms of strategic plans. The next piece I want to plug is, I'm really kind of plugging it for our Support Our Schools organization, and you'll see that flyer in front of you. Next month, February 24th, the Support Our Schools Committee is looking to have a Support Our Schools spaghetti dinner. It's a big fundraiser for the Support Our Schools Committee. Last year, if you recall, it was really successful. We had over 270 tickets that were sold for the event. It was a great fundraiser, but it was also a great event because we had some of our own students there presenting. We had many of our students in attendance, helping out with serving and so forth. But it's just a great event, so tickets will begin to go on sale early next week. But we put this out to our parents and our community to really make sure to save this day. Should be a good preview because just a couple of weeks later we have our musical coming up, so it'll be a good way to kind of celebrate and get some good pub and press about that as well. So I wanted to tell you about that that's coming up. And then the last thing I have for this month is actually I'm going to kind of turn the emphasis to you folks. Also, January is Board of Education recognition month. And so I wanted to take some time, and Mr. Street and I said we'd like to do that, to recognize you as our Board of Education. And thank you for the service that you do to our school district. Certainly at our organizational meeting earlier in the month, we brought back Mr. Singer and Mr. Oprah. You were sworn in for a new 4-year term, and we welcome you back for another 4 years. Also at that meeting, Mr. Neal is again going to be our board president, and Mrs. Barczyk our vice president, and so we welcome you back to those positions. But I think a lot of folks don't realize what a Board of Education does. They see these monthly meetings, but what are some of the other things? Certainly we've had 12 regular monthly meetings. But do people realize that, over the course of the year, last year, we had 20 special board meetings, which are, again, a lot of other, business has to be attended to. We had, again, obviously, organizational, countless other committee meetings. Each of you are on different committees, meeting with either myself, members of the administration, or teachers or staff. Bottom line is that you folks put a lot of countless hours in, and really for the benefit of our 1,400 young people here in this district. And so it's really on behalf of myself, John, the students, the community. We wanted to say thank you tonight and present each of you with a certificate of your service. So, Mrs. Barczyk, I'd like to present you with one.
Thank
you very much for
so much.
everything.
Thank you.
Mr. Oprah? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
He also serves on the board at Polaris, so he's doing double duty for us. Mr. Singer? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks. And Mr. Hanks, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks for everything you guys do. So, and Mrs. Barczyk, that concludes my report for this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Geifel. Mr. Street.
I just have the levy resolution to proceed later on on the agenda, so there won't be a individual treasurer's report this evening.
Thank you. Comments from board members and board committee reports, and we're going to start tonight with Mr. Hennings.
Thank you. I was hoping that Mr. Sullivan would still be here. I would have liked to give him props for a great job that he does with these kids. I can only echo what Dr. Glykoff has said as someone who was at the OMEA musical, whatever it's called, I don't know. I enjoy the music. When he says the high marks, they definitely did. Every one of our kids all got high marks. And when I say high, I mean ones. You can't get any higher than a 1. And watching each one of those kids play, they play with their heart. They don't just go up there and play it. They prepared for it just like any athlete would. They prepared for this day, and preparation paid off, so they did real well. We also had a couple of singers. Corinne went out there and she knocked them out with her voice, as usual. So again, the music wing is just one of our best things we can offer, not only, choir, marching band, and just about everything Mr. Sullivan said, along with the drama department, stage crew, and everything else. It's truly a great part of the school. I'll put it up against anybody else's music wing. I'll tell you that right now. It's always been a very good part of the school. Also, I can't say enough for the middle school girls basketball team. They are doing fantastic. These girls are out there. They're leading the way. They're beating everybody in that pack. I'll tell you right now. And that started back with Vern Cutright. I'll tell you what, he's had those girls for like the last 4 years.
Yeah.
And he's been working with them, and they come into the middle school time, and they're continuing on with the same, fierceness that they went out there and play with, with the coach they got now. Fantastic job. Wrestling, Taylor and Ray Mass, they're doing a fantastic job. We just had 3 more first place wins, 2 first place wins. Seth got most valuable wrestler of the whole tournament. Didn't give up 1 point. Again, you got to come to these things, people. I'll tell you what, it's great. These kids, they want to show for you guys. It's all about them, but come out there and give them an attaboy, pat them on the back, tell them great job. They're out there busting their butt representing Brooklyn. I can't say enough, for these guys. Beauty and the Beast, again, that's coming up soon. Mr. Sullivan told you, 8th, 9th, and 10th. These kids, they're there till 7, 8 o'clock at night, working to make sure it's done right. I'm back there helping Mr. Casper with the stage crew, and that poor guy, these kids don't come in with knowing how to use a screw gun or anything like that, so I kind of feel bad for him. He lost most of his talented construction guys from Polaris last year, so he's got a bunch of freshmen there, and they're looking at how to use a screwdriver, and I'm like, really? Come on. This poor guy. But they're up there building stuff. I'll tell you, they got half the stage already setting up there now. It's going to look great. It'll be one of probably the better stage sets that I've seen in a few years. Also, I want to congratulate the janitors. They're doing a fantastic job with removing the ice and salt to make sure school gets in. As a person who did snow plowing, I know how hard it is trying to get things done in a hurry. And I can tell you right now, I'm up here a lot, and I see the parking lots, they're good. They're real good, all right? They're salted. Nobody's in danger of sliding into anybody. Everybody's kids are safe, all right? I guarantee when I say I'm up here all the time. Nobody can deny that. We have the night at the races. The Brooklyn Middle School, High School Boosters has the night of the races coming up. Again, that's going to be just right around the corner from Brooklyn this year. It'll be at the Chevy UAW Hall plant. I had enough of the Ford plant. We're going on to the Chevy plant. So, again, tickets will be $25. There'll be food and drink, all you can eat. If you have a basket, if anybody out there wants any group wants to donate a basket, you're more than welcome to donate a basket. The more the merrier. It's all about fun. All the proceeds will go to the athletics and post-prom committee. So please feel free to join us. It's a great night. And that's all I have. That will be March 3rd, the week before Beauty and the Beast. So we got a great lineup going. We start off at night at the races and finish up with Beauty and the Beast.
Where can I get tickets?
Anybody from the Brooklyn Boosters.
For you?
Yeah, from me, from Kelly Supek, Lisa Clemens, Myrna LaPierre, and anybody in the post-prom committee, Patty Gaddy. Probably since she's like one of the representatives from school, you can probably hit her up. So anybody in the school that needs tickets, you can hit her up first, and if she doesn't have any, give me a holler. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Hennings. Now on to Mr. Singer.
Thank you, Mr. Barczyk. First of all, I'd like to, again, even though he's absent, Mr. Sullivan, I just want to compliment Mr. Martin and Mr. Sufco for a great performance. I think you did a beautiful job. And, this is the 100th year of anniversary of the Cleveland Orchestra. And I look at future members of the Cleveland Orchestra right there. what a testament to how good our music program is. I thank Barb Polinsky and Andy Chalker, some of our stakeholders and leaders in the city for attending our meeting tonight. Welcome. Welcome to our first meeting of 2018. I'd like to congratulate my fellow board member, Jim Oprah, on his re-election as a fellow board member, and congratulate both Rocky and Bonnie for their elections as president and vice president, respectively. I also want to thank all my fellow board members for their committee assignments, taking lead on those. I'd like to, again, kind of piggyback on Mr. Hennings. I'd like to congratulate Seth Majeski for taking first place at the Howland Wrestling Invitational recently, and also the rest of the wrestlers, and under the direction of Coach Taylor. Good job. Again, I want to piggyback. I'm very proud of our girls basketball teams for the records of wins. I have a vested interest. My daughter's on one of them. So, but I also want to say another stellar year for our Brooklyn Hurricanes hockey. I think we're going to do very well with our hockey team as well. Reminder out to all the supporters and our alumni to purchase your tables again for the upcoming night of the races held on March 3rd at UAW Hall. Kind of repeating what Mr. Henning said, tickets for $25. Had a great time last year, get a table together, especially all of you Brooklyn alumni from different classes. Get a table of 10 for your class. I'm sure Mr. Hennings can arrange to have the class year on the table. If you buy a table of 10, right?
Yes, there's tables of 10 and tables of 6.
Right. We want tables of 10.
Exactly.
Okay. Our Supporter Schools Committee will be holding its annual spaghetti dinner. There's a flyer here. I don't want to go into too much detail on February 24th. We don't need your support for spaghetti dinner, but we also need your votes. I encourage anybody who you know that may have some issues with our schools or administrators or school board to come in and share some spaghetti with us and tell us what your concerns are. I'd love to hear them. And perhaps we can address some of those concerns and get you back on track with supporting us. I have reached out to our juvenile court judge, Denise Rainey, to come speak to our schools about consequences of taking drugs and dealing with bullying. I forwarded the information over to Dr. Blykop to help coordinate this court outreach. I can be reached at 216-978-1931, and I accept text messages. And encourage all parents and residents to support our schools with respect to our renewal levies. End of report.
Thank you, Mr. Singer. Now on to Mr. Ober.
Thank you, Mrs. Barczyk. Again, I'll echo everybody else as far as Mr. Sullivan and the music department. That's just a great job. Mr. Richard Micko of Strongsville and Mr. Tom Herbster of North Homestead were re-elected President and Vice President, respectively, last week at the Players Board meeting. The construction project is proceeding apace with an official groundbreaking sometime in the spring. It was also decided the meeting calendar for the year will be different. Players meetings have traditionally been the second Tuesday of each month. This year the schedule does not list August, September, October at this point, and that's based on the construction project. Meetings in these months may be moved at different times of the month to accommodate the construction and possible decisions that need to be made about it. Also, Shefo Olszewski has been nominated for the OSBA Career System Award, which will be decided later this year. On the legislative side, the legislature is still finding their footing in the new year, so there has been no action thus on the three bills that I'm following, Senate Bill 8 and House Bills 369 and 342. I'd like to congratulate the 262 honor roll and 210 merit roll recipients for the second quarter. It's a lot of hard work, especially with extracurricular activities and the like. As the saying goes, nothing is given and everything is earned. Finally, last week I was in Finland on business, and I always take the opportunity to, when I have the chance to talk to them about the difference between the Finnish school system and U.S. and particularly ours. The CFO of our company is a trustee of their district, their board district, which accompanies probably maybe 100 square kilometers. And it's very interesting. You know, there's no, we're discussing about ECOT and that subsequent, did I say failure? Mm-hmm. Okay, failure, good. Just, they're just astounded by the hoops that we in the U.S. have to go through to finance schools. All the Finnish school systems are free. Their board meetings or maybe once a quarter. And they typically last maybe 10 minutes because there's not a lot going on. You don't have to worry about busing. They do a lot of cross-country skiing to get to school. So it cracks me up, just a totally different mindset. So I just wanted to share that. As always, I can be reached at james.oper@brooklyn.k12.oh.us or at 216-485-8195. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Oberg. I'm going to keep my report short this month. I would also like to reiterate what my fellow board members said about Mr. Sullivan and our talented students. They're amazing, and our music department is one of the best. I would also like to congratulate the honor merit roll. I know that's a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, and those kids really put in a lot of effort to receive those grades. The musical, again, is in March. Please put that on your calendar. I'm sure it's going to be amazing. It is every year. Beauty and the Beast is definitely a crowd favorite, so I'm looking forward to that. The spaghetti dinner, please come out and support. And I can always be reached at 216-406-4304. Now on to the reading of tonight's agenda. I am reading the agenda as well. Under the minutes of the Board of Education. Resolved that the minutes of the following Board of Education meeting be adopted and all action taken by the Board of Education at said meeting is hereby reaffirmed and approved. Regular meeting, December 19th, 2017. Organizational meeting, January 10th, 2018. Special meeting, January 10th, 2018. Followed the organizational meeting. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Comments and questions? Mr. Street, can you call the roll?
Mrs. Barcheck?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
Mr. Oper?
Yes.
Mr. Haynes?
Yes.
Result that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the financial statements of receipts and expenditures for the month of December 2017, including all purchase orders paid and all then and now statements for the month of December as submitted. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mr. Street, can you call the roll?
Mrs. Barcheck?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
Mr. Oper?
Yes.
Mr. Haynes?
Yes.
Result of the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the second reading and adoption of the following board bylaws and policies as noted. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Questions, comments?
These again, this is the second reading. As you recall, in December, I went through in more detail about these, just going through an approval of this.
Thank you. Mr. Street, can you call the roll?
Mr. Oper?
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
Mr. Haynes?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby commends the following students per the attachment for the honor roll, merit roll for the second quarter of 2018, as noted. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments?
Well, I think congratulations.
Congratulations.
You know,
I can't remember at the
Yeah, he
beginning.
is. He was up there. I seen your son's name. It was right there.
All right,
Second
he's
paragraph.
off.
He's
Oh,
I-
yeah, all right.
Well-
The other one's gonna get beat.
Oh,
Well,
Jesus, take the wheel.
we're proud of all of these students. You know, it's good that they put their academics in first and foremost. And again, I think that's a testament right there. They want them to do well, and it's just amazing when you see them all together.
Mr. Street, can you call the roll?
Mrs. Barcheck?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
Mr. Oper?
Yes.
Mr. Haynes?
Yes.
Result of the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education approves the following overnight trip, Japan trip, from March 24th to April 2nd, 2018.
I know, coming up quick.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments?
Yeah, this is the big Asian trip, and they're getting ready to go. And you know, typically you think that the Chinese language students be going to China. They've done that the last few years, and they thought they'd steer a little bit east this time and go to Japan. So you get the same flavor, but they're looking forward to it because that's going to be coming up right around spring break. So.
How many students are going? Do we know approximately? Is there, 'cause I'm sure the Europe trip probably has a little bit more than our.
You know, I'll get the number for you.
Okay.
Yes, I'll get it for you this
Oh,
week.
that's fine. That's fine.
I guess it's probably in the teens.
Thank you. Mr. Street, can you call the roll?
Mrs. Barcheck?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
Mr. Oper?
Yes.
Mr. Haynes?
Yes.
Result that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves granting a limited contract to the teacher named below as a classified and at step as listed for the remainder of the 2017-2018 school year. Maria Prusiak, class 10, step 10. Class 5, step 10, sorry. Sorry, Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments?
I'll give you some comments before you vote on this. Ms. Peruzek is our candidate in front of you for school psychologist. As we talked a couple months back, our current school psychologist is retiring at the end of the month. We went through many applications. Ms. Jones did much of the vetting of that, and we're really proud to bring this candidate in front of you. Ms. Peruzek has about 20-plus years over in the Geauga County ESC, working with a variety of districts out there in a lot of different capacities. Preschool extensively, even preschool supervisor across the county, worked in their ED program, and did some school age. Most recently is working in the West Geauga schools as part of the ESC, doing school psychologist work from pre-K all the way through 12, so has the full school age experience. Comes to us with great education as well, with her bachelor's and master's degrees both from Cleveland State, as well as her postmaster's work in educational specialist from Kent State. So I think she's a great candidate, and I ask for your support in her proposal.
Mr. Street, can you call the roll?
Mrs. Barcheck?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
Mr. Roper?
Yes.
Mr. Henning?
Yes.
Result of the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the employment of the following classified personnel for the 2017-2018 school year. Eric Gebhardt, classroom assistant, 6.5 hours per day, Appendix B, Step 2, effective January 9th, 2018. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Questions, comments?
Mr. Gebhardt comes to us, classroom assistant. We had an opening when the classroom assistant in that position went to another. So he comes to us with good credentials as well for a classroom assistant in terms of some teaching experience at ESL. And is also working on his master's in special education. So.
Mr. Street, can you call the roll?
Mrs. Barcheck?
No.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
Mr. Roper?
Yes.
Mr. Henning?
No.
Result of the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education accepts the following resignations. Susan Grodick, CATS Program Coordinator, effective June 30th, 2018, and J.O. Hanlon, Social Studies Teachers, effective February 27th, 2018. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mr. Street, can you call the roll?
Mrs. Barcheck?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
Mr. Roper?
Yes.
Mr. Henning?
Yes.
Result of the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the following resolution to proceed with the renewal of an existing levy on the May 8th, 2018 ballot. Mr. Street, do I want to do a motion first now before you speak, or?
Yes, go ahead.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Mr. Street, would you like that?
So we have a renewal coming up on this calendar year, and we propose to move forward with the renewal levy for an emergency levy that is on the books currently that raises $2,254,000 a year. And this levy is due to expire December 31st of 2018. And we just cannot lose that kind of money, so it has to be renewed. I think the big selling point is that there would not be an increase in taxes. It's just a renewal of a levy that is currently on the ballot. And so, Taylor, if you want to scroll probably a couple down, keep going. There we go. So this is what the proposed language would look like on the ballot. So it says a majority affirmative vote is necessary for passage. Shall a levy renewing an existing levy be imposed by the Brooklyn City School District for the purpose of avoiding an operating deficit in the sum of $2,254,000? And so that's a key word, of avoiding an operating deficit. To take $2,254,000 out of our budget, we would just not be able to operate. And there's a number of consequences that would happen, but we won't get into that because we certainly hope for passage of this on May. So this resolution, and I'll read you what the resolution is. It's a resolution determining to proceed with the submission to the electors of Brooklyn City School District the question of the renewal of an existing tax levy pursuant to section 5705.194 through 5705.197 of the revised code. The first resolution that you folks passed on December 19th was for me to take that resolution to the county auditor, and the county auditor then would determine the millage that would be required to renew this levy, and that millage is listed on there to raise the $2,254,000. This second resolution is a resolution to proceed. So tonight, if you pass this, you are saying that I will then take this to the county fiscal officer and the county board of elections, and we will certify this and put this levy on the ballot for Tuesday, May the 8th, if you would pass this tonight. So I would ask that you would vote on this.
Thank you, Mr. Street. Any questions, comments?
Yes, John, question for you. Will there be any increase to the taxpayer with the passage of this emergency levy?
There will be no increase to the taxpayers. With an emergency levy, it is a specific dollar amount that is raised, and that $2,254,000 that was passed in 2013 that we're currently collecting would be raised again with this renewal, and all that the county auditor would collect in taxes is enough to provide us with that $2,254,000, and there would not be an increase in taxes.
I have a second question, Madam President. What percentage of funds does this levy represent compared to our total budget for operating funds?
It is probably a quarter to
25%.
16, probably about 12, let's say 12%. I didn't figure that out ahead of time, but I'll say 12%.
About 12%.
Yes.
And am I correct in assuming about 82% of our budget is personnel and benefits?
Yes.
Any other questions? Comments? Mr. Street, can you call the roll?
Mrs. Barcheck?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
Mr. Oker?
Yes.
Mr. Henning?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves entering into executive session for the purpose of appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of an employee or official. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Board enters into executive session at 6:47. Everybody at 6:47 p.m.? After we come out of executive session, we will not be taking any action. Just the end, closing out the meeting. Thank you. Motion and second. Did we already do the motion? We already had the motion and second.
Okay.
Yeah.
So vote then.
Mr. Street, can you call the roll?
Mrs. Barcheck?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
Mr. Oker?
Yes.
Mr. Henning?
Yes.